The right to make decisions over marriage is one of power which masters have historically exercised over individuals whom they captured from their homes to be slaves. I'm talking about slaves. They fell in love like everyone else, but they didn't have the right to marry who was individually chosen, because that was the decision of their masters who enslaved them. In today's video we're going to look on slavery marriage. The exercise of their right had far-reaching outgrowth of lived experience of enslavement, with slaves usually women and girls being forced into conjugal, marital relationships where their labor, sexuality and reproductive capacity were at disposal of their husband masters. Generally, slave owners would have a white minister or a black plantation preacher perform the ceremony, and a large feast and dance in the quarters would follow honoring the slave couple. By using the research of Vanessa M. Holden from a historian's book, Tara Hunter, which is called Bound in Wedlock, Slave and Free Black Marriage in the 19th Century. This book of Hunter describes the issue in the years following the Civil War in the former Confederate States of America were the marriage of former slaves, unions that some whites did not want the law to be legitimate. It describes how enslaved people discourage ex-slaves from marrying or simply refusing to give them access to courts or licenses. The federal government opened up legal marriage, a legal institution that many 19th century Americans valued as the bedrock of society, a requirement of manhood and womanhood, and the only appropriate foundation of a family unit, to include former slaves during and after the war. Those chafing at social change in the post-emancipation South saw black marriages as a challenge to social order and racial hierarchy. She keeps writing, local legislatures denied enslaved people the right to marry in the U.S. beginning in the nation's colonial history. Slaveholders regularly split up couples, overrode the parenting decisions of enslaved mothers and fathers and sexually abused their human property with no fear of punishment. Slave owners went as far as espousing the idea that African Americans were unable to make family attachments, that black parents had little regard for their children, and the white slaveholders and childlike slaves remained embedded in early representations and histories of American slavery into the early 20th century. Marriage was a way to codify intimate relationships. It was also an expression of humanity. Tara Hunter writes, while African Americans worked and hoped to reunite their families, whites in both the North and South wanted their support for heterosexual marriage and cohabiting nuclear families to help them control black labor in the South. Thank you for watching. If you need more information about slavery marriage, read the book deeply. Shalom, shalom.